Today, I'm sitting down with high performance coach, keynote speaker, and the founder and host of the Determined Society podcast, a top 0.5% globally ranked show, Shawn French, who's sharing how he grew a podcast from a hobby to interviewing celebrities and thought leaders. Bloom Health Club starts now.
From the Stream Center, welcome to Bloom Health Club, sponsored by Monticciolo Family and Sedation Dentistry.
Health Club. I am your host, Gayle Guyardo. Our guest today is high performance coach, keynote speaker, and the founder and host of the Determined Society podcast, which is a top 0.5% globally ranked show that features intentional and impactful conversations with elite performers, industry leaders, and celebrities. Shawn French is the newest member of Bloom Health Club. Thank you so much for being here.
It's such an honor. I've been waiting to do this for a while, so
I'm
excited to be here.
I'm excited to find out how you were able to start a well-respected podcast from something that was a hobby.
On accident. No, I'm kidding. Listen, it's just one of those things where when you start something, you have this passion behind it and you have this mission and you just know you want to continue to try this out. And it was a hobby because I wasn't recording consistently. I didn't have the KPIs and the SOPs behind or anything like that. No systems, no production company, nothing. But the thing that I loved was having conversations with people and getting things that were bothering me that I needed help with out and into the ears and the eyes of other people. And I just kept showing up. The fact that the days got dark and it was hard, we weren't monetizing, it was just me putting things out in the airwaves and a lot of times not being heard because it was new. But I decided, you know what? This is a training ground. If I equate this to athletics, I used to be an athlete, there's the time that you have to give a little bit. It's going to stink and you have to sacrifice. And this is the season I'm in right now. So I just kept going and then started to learn a little bit. And then finally, I think 2024, we grew a lot, but 2025 was explosive.
Hey, you and I talked about this a little bit in the green room because when Bloom started 5 years ago, I stepped away from a very high profile job to launch this show. I actually stepped away because my vocal cords gave out, but this opportunity came up and it wasn't as high paying. It didn't have the tremendous support staff, but it was an incredible opportunity. And I learned over the years after checking, I try to think of myself as not having an ego, but just checking the ego at the door and showing up every day and being determined to make this a success. And you don't realize that when you're in the trenches, but you talk a lot about the importance of discipline, the importance of mindset, and the importance of showing up because inevitably people will hear you.
Mm-hmm. I think it's important to understand that no matter where we are in life, if we're in the valley or like you said, like, hey, I'm trying to check my ego at the door. There's a reason we're in this position. It's because higher power, God, or the universe wants to teach us something. So our job is to be fully invested in that moment and figure out like, hey, what is it? Like, what do I have to learn here? And really be invested on more of the lesson instead of where you're at.
Yeah.
That to me always helped me. And that's kind of how I built this thing.
I love that. And I do. Every time I'm really, really uncomfortable, I stop and I'm like, all right, God, what is it that you want me to learn? What is supposed to set in here to move me forward in life? So at what point did it turn into something that people were listening to? Because you are top 0.5% globally ranked show.
Yeah, I would honestly say we started ranking in Apple like the top 50 to top 100 in 2024. And then 2025, it just grew into a different monster where we broke, top 10 in category, but maybe top 40 overall in all of the categories. But most recently, I can see a massive shift, right? Apple really likes us. So we're typically between number 1 and number 3 in our category and as high as number 18 overall out of, I don't know, those are like 6 million shows in all the categories. So I would say over the last 2 years or the last year and a half, it's really turned into something that people go to when they have hard moments. And that's the best feedback I get. Hey, I have brain cancer right now and I'm not me personally, but someone has brain cancer. Like I listened to your show to get through things. I'm just like, whoa, like that's heavy. So to me, I have a very big responsibility to the type of product I put out there because if people are coming to it, right, to get something from it, then I need to be on point. But yeah, I mean, I would say the last year and a half has really been where I've noticed that people are starting to come and they're enjoying it.
I love that. I love that. So you have some big heavy hitters on your show. When did people like, celebrities start to notice the Determined Society podcast?
Well, I think there's a big back end of the industry, right? And it's all PR,
Okay.
right? I mean, it really truly is. But it was 2025. That's when I started getting the bigger names on. We started with Tyrese and Cody Walker, which is Paul Walker's brother. Then we went Mina Savari, and then we went Brian Johnson from Don't Die on Netflix. And then it just started rolling a little bit. And then all of a sudden, here's June comes along and I'm sitting in Jay Leno's garage.
What?
In Burbank, California at the airport. And I'm just blown away at that point. It's just, these are certain things that I never thought I was going to be able to experience in my life. Because at the inception of the show, it was like, I'm just going to interview local people and I'm going to just talk about their recipe for success. And then it's turned into so much more. And what I realized is, and for the audience too, watching, is don't sell your vision short. Think big, because if you fall, then you at least land where you want to be, right? But it's turned into something that I could just, I just can't even. If you were to ask me 4 years ago, would I be sitting here with you right now and doing all these cool things? I don't think I would say yes.
So let's go back 4 years ago when you were, talking into your phone and trying to get your messaging out. What was your main gig prior to that?
So I was in medical sales.
Okay.
So I started, I coached and I taught a lot. But then when I had my first child, I was like, well, I got to get out of this because I need more money. I want to be present more. Because when I was coaching, I was gone in the morning before the sun came up. So my son was asleep. And when I got home at night, he was already passed out. So there would be like 4 days in a row where I wouldn't see my son. It's like, I can't have this. I need to try something different. So I got into sales. I went into, business to business payroll sales for paychecks and ended up doing really, really well there for about 5 years, and then went into medical sales. And I did that for about 3. And I was just like, you know what? It's time. We got to rip the Band-Aid off this thing because it's starting to grow a little bit. And I think I could do something special here. And my wife and I spoke and we pulled the plug on corporate America, and here we are.
I love that. But there's this fear factor about pulling the plug on corporate America or anything that feels comfortable. I mean, for me, it's like an umbilical cord. I've been here 33 years, and cutting it is like cutting off a piece of my life. What do you say to folks that are in that position?
It's hard because you're giving away a piece of your identity. I mean, you've been here for 33 years, and just imagine, when I left coaching, I'm giving that part up. So I have to search and build myself again. So we're always in the season of flux and growth. Like, who are you now? And it's always nice to say, okay, I'm not what I do, right? I'm not a podcaster. It's just something I do. So I've learned to detach that reality from who I actually am. But the main point is, if you let fear drive you in a good way, it can create some amazing results. But if you let it dictate your next move, you'll never move anywhere. So I always tell myself, like, hey, are you comfortable right now? And if I'm comfortable, then I do something really risky, usually thought out, but riskier, to get me out of my comfort zone, because that's the only way I know how to grow.
And you say in talking to many celebrities that they talk to you about climbing their way back up to the top. We don't realize it because we might see them on our favorite Netflix series or, whatever mainstream show, but they don't always feel like they're on top of their game. They got to claw their way back up.
They do. And that's why it drives me crazy when people say, like, I don't really care what these celebrities have to say. What do they have to worry about? They're living in multi-million-dollar mansions. They know more about adversity than a lot of us do. They've had to work. Oh, are you good? Sorry. They had to work really hard to get to where they're at. I mean, there's no one better to learn from than somebody who's made it to the top of their industry, or even a celebrity, because they know what it's like to lose. So the win tastes so much better.
I'm glad you said that, because people only see them in the ivory tower. But at the end of the day, they are real people. And even though they do have it great, I mean, you just never know, when that income is coming in, what they're dealing with in their personal life. And that does impact a lot of people. So to talk to me a little bit about your journey. Were you scared when you pulled the plug?
1,000%. I was very scared. Sometimes I'm still scared. It still scares me to a point, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily a bad thing. What scared me more, though, was having somebody breathing down my neck, asking me where I was at 24/7, and controlling my compensation plan every single year. So as you do better and you crush it, well, now we're taking something away for next year, but we're going to raise your quota, but you're going to make less money. That scared me more than going out on my own. So yeah, naturally I was like, okay, that's fine.
But did you lean on your gift of sales? Because you do have that kind of personality where like, hey, I want to hear what this guy's got to say. I mean, that definitely helps.
Well, at the very beginning, I was monetizing my show myself before we had, an ads team and before we had, PR, before we had agents and brand managers, right? Like that stuff wasn't included in the jump off. It was like, okay, you better go sell something. So we sold venue sponsors. So I would record at a gym and they would pay for it. We get other spots covered and we do ads and we implement them into our own. We bake them into the MP4 and we run the monetization that way. So there's a high level of sales in what I do, but there's also a high level of sales of how you speak about your show and how you bring it across to people on the microphone and in the community. And that's one of the things that I pride myself on.
That's beautiful. Talk to me about family life and how that's changed your perspective on life.
I mean, being a father and a husband is something that I've always wanted. I've always wanted, children. I've got my one son. I've got two beautiful daughters. All three of them are great. And I think the thing for me is I want to do so well because I want them to be proud of who I am. Meaning I want them to be like, that's my dad. And I want my wife to go, that's my husband. And because if I can do that, if I can make people proud, it means I'm giving something. And then I know I'm on the right track. But the balance that we talked about earlier is really not there, because there's times where I'm traveling, there's times where I'm doing a lot of different things. But when I'm around them, I have to pay a strong attention to being present.
Yeah.
Even if it's for 15 minutes.
You're right. Because at the end of the day, I'm about to become an empty nester here. You don't get those minutes and moments back. And I think people race through life and they're trying to achieve and overachieve. And at the end of the day, when you look back, you want those moments. And I love that you talk about being present. And which ways do you try to do that for your family, your wife, your kids?
It's hard, because as an entrepreneur, you always have something going on in the back of your head, right? So sometimes I gotta go to the bathroom, we'll be right back. And I'm like, okay, I gotta send this email off because something hit me and I have to do it. But for the most part, when we're at dinner, like every meal we eat in the house is at the table. And that's sacred time. So there's no phones, there's no nothing. They're put in a box and they're away. One of the things that I really do, I would say 90% of the time, is the moment my children come home. They get home at 4:30. My phone is put away until 8 p.m. when they're in bed.
That's great.
Because I want to,
right.
I want to connect with them. I want to know what their day was like. I want to know how they helped somebody. I want to know where they're struggling. So, I just really focus on being present with my family, even if it's a conversation or a joke, or we like to play this Uno game, but
yeah, we love it.
Sexy
Uno or regular Uno?
Sexy Uno?
There's such a thing. I mean,
Talk
it's
to me
not
about
really
sexy
that.
Uno.
It's not that sexy.
I don't think I can play that with
overselling
my kids, but
you can.
wife, we can. I might have to Google that up.
All right, it's not that sexy. Just an FYI. I think I'm overplaying it. But you play Uno and what?
It's the one that you push a button and the cards just shoot out.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It's nuts. It's not the traditional rules. It's way more fun. But so we play that and we get so engaged with each other. It's just awesome.
I love that. I know we're big into games too. And then my husband has this whole victory dance he does, and we just pray he doesn't win, but he often does.
The victory dance.
Yeah, the victory dance. Talk to me about your health and wellness journey, because you said that has played a huge role in helping you find this balance and presence.
Yeah, I would say it was November of 2024, and I was 231 pounds and 31% body fat.
Really?
I couldn't get off the couch. Not because I was immobile, but because I was so depressed. And it was the one thing that bothered me my whole life that I never took care of. But yet it was crazy to me because I'm so close with the show. Why am I not breaking through? What is it? Well, I was living determination and discipline and building the show, but I wasn't the brand to everybody else. So when you looked at me like, this guy's talking about determination and discipline and you're not taking care of yourself. It doesn't make sense, right? So the moment I started taking care of that, and I'm now currently 187 pounds, and everything fell into place once I took care of the one thing that always bothered me my whole life. So when people ask me about this, so I'm not a fitness coach, I'm not a nutritionist, but me taking care of myself and getting back in shape changed everything for me and changed everything for my business.
And this is just something that you stayed determined in doing. I mean, it was like a light switch moment for you.
Yeah, it's just the mastering the monotony in it, right? It's like you wake up in the morning, you have your shake, you go to the gym. Okay, that's 2 wins. Come back home, have another good meal. That's another win. So for me, it was just more of like sticking to the plan. And the more I did that, the more it started getting that hockey stick. I'm like, oh, I'm onto something. Then gas pedal down. Like I haven't come off of it.
How long did it take you to see the results you wanted to see and feel the way you want to feel?
I would say last summer, I was the same weight, but I didn't have as much muscle on me. So it was more of a flat look. I think now I'm starting to really appreciate what I'm building and seeing the different shape of my body. I'm like, okay, I like this. Let's keep going because summer's coming.
I love it. I love it. Well, I want to take some viewer questions, but I want to introduce you to our producer and director of today's Bloom Health Club, Nacha Castillo. Thanks for joining us, Nacha. Thank you for switching behind the scenes as well.
Of course.
Do you have a question that you want to kick things off with?
Yeah. Well, actually, I wanted to ask, seeing the reel that you sent of your podcast, you've obviously had many amazing guests. Is there one particular story that just absolutely blew your mind and changed your perspective on something?
You know, one of my favorite stories and favorite people I've ever had on was Gertie from Real Housewives of Miami. To hear about her journey through cancer and all the things that kind of went on in the house, all the drama. She is such an amazing human being, you know, and her husband and her children are there to support her. And I just loved the trajectory of the win for her. Yeah. It's like, I know what you see on TV, but I know the person and I know how she operates. And having her in my studio to have that chat about her overcoming that, like that to me outweighs a lot of different type of high profile things. Because we're talking about real life. We're talking about a life. We're talking about a mom. We're talking about a wife, a friend, right? So I really loved her story and she's become a friend.
Yeah, this is not just before your time, but Matt Dillon with PRMD, he brought in Gertie to Bloom way back in the day. And her story, we were talking about it, I believe, in the Bloom office just last week about her compelling story. And this is before her battle with cancer, which was a treacherous battle. I mean, she really went through it. Yeah. But even then, to hear her journey and some of the traumas that she went through with a whole tsunami story, I mean, everything was just a mind-blowing story. And she is an amazing woman. And I do think, you know, you learn so much, or at least I have, from the people in your presence. These stories really matter. It's more about the people's accomplishments. It's about how they were able to stay determined throughout these hard parts of life.
Absolutely. I mean, I didn't hear the tsunami story, but I know her story of coming over here and then her parents going, okay, we'll come back when we can. And you're staying with family that's strangers. It's just incredible what her story is. But yeah,
it was a lot.
It's a lot, yeah.
All right, let's get to some viewer questions. Karen wants to know, you are an avid fitness advocate and you find the time to devote to your health, the Determined Society, and family. How do you find the balance?
Oh, Karen, I really appreciate your question. I don't really believe in balance. I seek presence. So whenever I need to be in the gym or with my family or recording on my show or being here on Bloom, I'm fully here and fully present, and everybody knows and can feel that I'm paying the absolute most attention to them in that moment, and that's just how I operate.
All right, let's go to Sam. This is a good one, and he's bringing up a point that I haven't shared yet with our viewers. Sam asks, why are you building a media empire with like-minded people?
I actually love that question, Sam, because what we see now on social media and out there in the world is a bunch of divided society and members of society. And the reason why I'm doing this, because I want to bring everybody together and I want people to go to a platform, whether it's me or the other people on my team or the stable of shows that we support, and feel fulfilled afterwards and feel like I really learned something and it's something that I can apply to my day.
Yeah, because to your point, we have moved into a place that, in my humble opinion, is very dangerous. Even scrolling through social media right now, you have people taking a stand. This is how I believe, and if you don't believe it, I don't think that we can be friends anymore. I don't think that we can hang out. That's when the conversation stops, because whether you agree or don't or disagree, hearing like-minded opinions and getting deeper into the conversation, you actually figure out that you have more in common than you don't, or you're only scratching the surface. And scratching the surface is a very, very dangerous way to communicate.
Fact. The like-minded thing isn't somebody who thinks like me, right? Based on Sam's question, it's like-minded, in my opinion, and this is what I feel it is, everybody wanting more. Like, they want to be successful.
Yes.
They want to grow. But like-minded, I don't want to be around a bunch of people that think just like me. What can I learn from that?
Right.
I don't want that.
And in order to grow, you got to shut down the noise, and you can't be a voice with the noise.
No.
That's where people go wrong. If you're so caught up trying to take a stand, then you're not really keeping your eye on your own ball.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because a lot of people ask me, like, are you going to speak up about this? I'm going, no. Everybody else is.
Right.
I have my opinions. They're for me. It's for me to sit with. But if I go and do the same thing everybody else is doing, I'm just subscribing to more white noise on the internet. Like, no, I'm going to focus on what I can do to give to society. That's more impactful.
I love that. I love that. All right, let's move on to Rich, who wants to know, what is your definition of determination?
Rich, that's awesome. Thank you. So my determination definition is simply this: doing what you said you were going to do long after the emotion wears off. So if I feel like I want to wake up at 4 a.m. to go work out the night before, but I wake up in the morning, I'm like, no, I'm tired. That's not the true definition of determination. The true definition of determination is getting up and saying that I'm going to do it, and then go execute it because I said I would, no matter how I feel emotionally at that time. That's determination. And it's quiet. It doesn't roar. Sometimes it's silent. Sometimes it can be just putting on your shoes and walking out the door and walking for 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's interesting, because a lot of times when you get up and you put your mind to it, no matter how grueling it is, when all is said and done, you're so much more thankful that you did it versus not doing it.
That was this morning. I got 3 hours of sleep because I wasn't feeling well. Went up, did the workout, said this is going to stink. By my second set, I was fine.
Yeah.
Like we horrify everything before we do it. It's like, this is going to be the worst thing ever. It's like, no, just go do it. And you'll find that once you start moving around a little bit, you feel great.
I love it. I love it. So how do we find you? How do we follow you? I know the Determined Society podcast is where we can find you on streaming places, but anywhere else?
Yeah. So if you go to our website, thedeterminedsociety.com, a pop-up will happen. Sign up for the newsletter. You automatically get access to my free school account, where I do coaching, behind the scenes stuff, and a bunch of interaction with the members. But as far as the social media platform, the Shawn French, SHAWN for Instagram, and the Determined Society on Instagram as well is the podcast page, but then YouTube as well, the Determined Society.
Hey, Shawn, it's been such a pleasure having you as the newest member of Bloom Health Club. Thank you so much for joining us.
It was my honor. Thank you, Gayle.
All right, and listen, we want to give a special shout out to Monticciolo Family and Sedation Dentistry for believing in us enough to get these conversations out there and keep them going. And don't forget, you can watch our streaming show, Bloom Health Club, on Apple TV, Fire TV, Roku, Samsung TV, WFLA.com, and YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. See you next week on Bloom Health Club.